six string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Oh man, goddamn, bought another six string today. Vintage wood, shiny frets, strumming blues while the sun fades. All these guitars, can't help myself. Why can't I quit this ever-growing need? Sneaking inside, just another piece of art, a new love to find. Strings humming with a history, each one with a tale. From the first touch of the strings, my soul sets sail. I see the look in her eyes, another roll of the dice. But in those studio lights,
Oh, okay. Can you, is this, I don't know what happened. I won't start a new stream then if you can hear me. But hang on. And I've got a weird report on my screen as well, which I can't close. But I don't need to close it. Is this working now? Let me know in the chat, please. The whole system just restarted. The whole system just froze and crashed. Never happened to me before. I just installed an update for Ecamm Live. It could be that. Is it working now? It's working. Okay, I'm not going to start a new stream then. I'm going to continue from this same stream. I'm just going to hide this error with a spinning beach ball. Because I can't close it. It might, I wonder if it'll cause me another problem though. And the start of this stream is messed up. Oh wait, I think it's gone away. Let me see. Oh, it's gone away. Okay. All right. I guess I'll leave it. Let me just make sure everything's working. Give me a second to test everything. You can hear me, right? Okay, Chrome is working. My stream is working. It says you're watching. You can hear me talking, right? On this microphone, you hear me tapping this? Okay, I'm going to stay where I am then. That was crazy. I think it's because I installed... There was enough... You should never install updates when you're live streaming. Okay, let me start this again. Yeah, you should never install updates when you're live streaming. You just shouldn't, and I did. That was a mistake. And I didn't even restart the computer. I think if you do install a software update, then you should definitely restart the computer as well. I didn't do that. So I guess that's what happened. I thought it was the heat because it's so hot. I'm like sweating already, even though the AC was running. It's really, really hot here today. But anyway, I'm going to sweat, and I can see I'm shiny. That's fine. So let's start again. Ready? Oh. All right. Okay. I have a spot as well. All right. Let's start again. Hi there. My name's Aaron Short, and welcome to my live stream on the YouTube channel. Today is July the 15th, 2024. It's very, very hot here. Let me know how the weather is where you are. But I shall, if you don't mind seeing me sweat, then I'll just go ahead and do the live stream. All right, let's say hi. I will put a timestamp as well so people can jump straight to this part of the video because we had some technical issues earlier on. So Bedouin says, hi, Aaron. Have a good show. See you at 4. Fantastic. You were obviously the first to leave a comment. Rex says, good afternoon. Head out for a jog. Started reading the manual. Should be waiting when I get home in August. Cool. I know. So Voice Live 3 Extreme is selling well, and it has now shipped out to customers. Friends of mine have already received their units and are starting to try them out. So good luck with them. Jasper says, hello, Jasper North says, hello, Aaron. Major breakthrough. After years, I am now not bending my fretting hand anymore to relieve the tension. Hand wrapped around the neck instead of the thumb behind the fingers. Let me just see if I can figure out exactly what you mean. After years, I'm now not bending my fretting hand anymore. Bending my fretting hand. Bending it to relieve the tension. Hand wrapped around the neck instead of the thumb behind the fingers. I mean, classical players will tell you the thumb should be behind the fingers. Yeah, I don't play like that. I play with my thumb over the neck, like Hendrix, like that. That allows you to do, the classical teacher would tell you that's wrong, but that allows you to do certain voicings that you can't do in the classical position. Even though I'm sure the classical position has its merits, it's obviously a tried and tested thing. Maybe it's even better. I don't know. For the stuff I play, I have to play like this. But definitely you certainly don't want any excess tension ever, because that's what will lead to injuries. That's what you mean, right? You've got your thumb over the top of the neck. I'm looking for a guitar. Your thumb over the top of the neck rather than behind the fret. Oh yeah, definitely. You definitely want to be in that position like that. Like you're holding a ball. Like you're holding an apple in your hand. You want to be like that, more like that than that. At least for what I do. You wouldn't, that wouldn't work for me. So that's good. Miss Lee says, good day from Queensland, Australia. 6 a.m. Is that 6 a.m. and a cold winter's day? Let's see. Crazy. It's going to be 99 where I am tomorrow. Rosanna, good evening, everyone here in the chat. Happy Monday, everyone. Not long until NYC. Yep, looking forward to the trip. Patsy in Suffolk. John said, good now. Thanks, John. I saw this happen on another site earlier. It's probably that sort of thing happens when the computer overheats, but it's probably Ecamm Live that I use had an update. Like I said, normally, okay, this is what you should do when there's an update and you do something like live streaming. You should not do the update. You don't need the latest update. Sometimes the things they change are not even applicable to you. They weren't applicable to me. I just like to keep things updated. But what I used to do is update something and then restart the whole machine and then go live. So that will fix most issues. In fact, I usually restart the whole machine just before I go live, just to clear out the memory and just to keep the computer fresh and the connection fresh. Sometimes I restart the router. If you're really serious, you would restart your router an hour before, restart your computer 15 minutes before, and then you should be good to go. But, these things happen. Kevin in Indiana, good to see you, buddy. Keep rocking, says the doctor. We're back in the business. Yep. Hello from the UK, says Graham. Good. Hair is looking great. You see, I like my hair like this. So that's the thing. It looked kind of weird because the guy that cuts my hair is awesome, but he went too short and it just looked odd. When it's a bit longer, it has weight to it, and then it kind of naturally lays. And I really like it like this. I could use a trim on the ears already. I've already got too much over my ears, but I'm going to keep my hair like this. I like it. And it's less work with gel and stuff, even though I like the gel look. I like the spiky look, but I like this too. I'm going to keep it like this, maybe a little bit longer. That's how I used to have it as a kid anyway. So it's all full cycle, full circle. Good. The mic's working. The Ray is working. Good, good, good. Great. Okay, good. So now we can get started. Dr. McFarlane says, long live the Kemper. These tones are so juicy. I always like the Kemper with the right profiles. With the right profiles. I always liked it. And that was one I always go by what other people say too. I think that's very important. That's one of the reasons I started the YouTube channel, was to get other people's opinions, even though your opinion should be all that really matters. When I went live one day with the Noel Gallagher Gibson guitar, people loved the tones. They commented on the tones, and that was the Kemper. And other modelers I've used, they've never commented on the tones like that. It's interesting. It's like someone made a comment on the Cole Clark Saturday Night, another guitarist, how great it sounded plugged in. You know, no one ever really made a comment on most other pickup systems I've ever used. Maybe I think the Anthem a couple of times, but the Cole Clark has consistently had many compliments of the plugged in tone. And so that's proof for me. That's the evidence right there, you know. Michael's here. How you doing, buddy? Jasper's here. Yes, Aaron, over the top. You explained it well, holding an apple. Yeah, cool. Hello all, says Boomer. And Jasper says, I feel so stupid, I just discovered it. Enough about this. No, it brings up a good point. This is why one-to-one guitar lessons are still really, really, really important, because there's some great lessons online. There's also a lot of mistakes online. I was learning the intro to the End of the Line song by the Traveling Wilburys the other day, and I'd learned it off another local musician and by ear, and I watched the video of George Harrison playing it, and I realized I was playing it wrong. I looked at some major YouTube teachers online, and they were playing it wrong as well, which is completely inexcusable, because the video, the music video with George Harrison on it, shows you clearly what he's doing. So although there's some amazing guitar teachers that are very good players out there, very good teachers with great ears, they still, it's quite unbelievable to me that they still have these mistakes when they could have just watched the original video on YouTube and learnt from the original musician. And that really is important. I think it's the importance of having a real in-person lesson, because I bet straight away, Jasper, a teacher in the room with you would have said to you, oh, try putting your hand like this, because they would have seen how you were holding the guitar. This is what online courses and YouTube videos cannot teach you, unless the video is about how to hold the neck of the guitar, which is actually a good idea for a video I could make. You know, it's hard to cover everything. So if you just sit, if someone sits down with you that is experienced, and they just look at you play, straight away they're going to say to you, oh, you should try this. Try it's down to the smallest detail. The way you're holding the guitar, the way your arm is over the top of the guitar, the way your posture is, the way you hold the neck, the way you fret the chord, the way you put your finger on the fret, how hard you're pressing, etc., etc. So I think you should consider having, the problem is you got to find a really good teacher. If you can find a really, really good teacher and just have one lesson and just say, can you give me like an overview of what I'm doing? Because maybe they'll see something that will save you years of work. So you don't have to go to them every week, although that'd be a good thing to do, but just one lesson with someone just to kind of check in. And even experienced players, if you're watching this and you feel like you're a fully experienced professional, it's just good to have someone else look at you and say, hey, I noticed you're doing this. So yeah, you should consider that. Lee, how you doing? Thanks for moderating, guys. Danielle says, I avoid thumb over the neck. I find if I start fretting notes frequently with the thumb, it stresses the thumb joint. No new arrangements use the thumb. Well, of course, yeah, you made a good point as well, that this is down to the person. Because my hand is not the same. I have big hands. And like John Mayer can, like, what was it, Tommy Emmanuel can bend his thumb all the way back. I can't. So of course you have to play to your physique as well. But a teacher still could say to you, that doesn't look comfortable. Let me see your hand. Okay, maybe try this for your hand type. All right, that makes sense. Paul, how you doing? In Ohio, awesome stuff. This is great. Good crowd today. Let me know if you've made any discoveries. Yeah, it doesn't have to just be about new gear you've bought. I love what Jasper's saying about discovering something playing on the guitar. That's really cool. So feel free to share any wins like that as well. Quentin says, hope all is well. Yes, Quentin, how you doing? Paul says, I get compliments quite often on the tone of the lyric. It needs to be EQ'd, but once you get it set, pretty much works anywhere, especially in the monitors. One thing I think about that, Paul, is that there is no plug and play. All pickups need to be EQ'd, whether it's to drastically change the tone. Like, I think that's what you mean. Like with a lyric, I would say you've got to add some low end, take out some mids, play with the high end. With the Cole Clark, I still have to cut out some frequencies that don't agree with my ears. There's no pickup in the world. It's like saying that you own a microphone where you just plug it straight into a mixing desk and hit record and the singer sings and you release that to the radio. No one does that. Even with a $50,000, $100,000 microphone, they still plug it into a compressor, into an outboard EQ, into a DAW, go into the DAW, EQ the mic for the recording. And this is a good way to think as well with gigs. Think about your gig these days as more of an album recording, because that's kind of what the sounds we're getting are. Like a guitar modeler is different to an amp. An amp is just an amp, but a guitar modeler has studio compressors, reverbs, delays. You can actually make that fit in the mix more like so the mix sounds more like a studio recording. And I've been thinking lately about my acoustic gigs. I do a lot of gigs now where I'm going through the house system. So I'm thinking that I should start to add more compression. I don't like compression, but I think I should try to make my gig sound even more like a recording, because I think that's what I'm trying to recreate. Like when people are sitting in the bar next door and they hear the sound coming through the PA over the house system, I kind of want them to feel like they're, of course it's got to sound live. I don't want it to sound like a backing track, but I want the overall tone to sound more like they're listening to MTV Unplugged, with all those outboard gears. So I think I'd like to start dialing in my tone a bit different in that regard. But I will say the Lyric is a fantastic system, and it's because it's not a pickup. It is a microphone. The Lyric is a mic. And the best tone I ever had in this room with headphones on was the Lyric with the headphones and the K&K Trinity, which is also a mic and the K&K sensors in the headphones. Almost like virtual reality. Almost like I'm in a studio recording session. The only problem is when you go to a gig, I couldn't use them. They would just, the K&K, the mic would fall out. Even if I stuck it in well, it's in the sound hole. You can't really cover the sound hole because the mic's there. You can, but I found it was reflecting off the sound hole cover in that pickup system. If you take the sound hole cover out, you've basically got an exposed microphone in the sound hole, which will easily feed back, especially when combined with the K&K pickups. With the Lyric, less feedback prone, but once you start dialing in more low end and turn the volume up, that could also screech like a microphone as well. So that's why I wouldn't use them live. For what I'm talking about, having a studio quality sound in the house PA system, I think it'd be better for me to have something like that. The Cole Clark still sounds like a pickup, just sounds like a really good pickup system. So I think I'd rather have a microphone for those kind of gigs, so it sounds even more like a studio recording. This is why I'm interested in the new LR Baggs Hi-Fi Duet, but I still haven't played it since NAMM. I'm interested to see if the Hi-Fi Duet will give me more of that studio mic tone, because I would certainly be interested in taking the guitar with that system in it to one of these venues if it gave me more of a studio tone. And if it doesn't, if it causes me feedback, if it doesn't give me a tone that's worth it, I would still stick with the Cole Clark. I'm not married to any system, but the Cole Clark still gives me things that the Baggs wouldn't. A Cole Clark has a satin finish. Lately, I've been rubbing on the guitar as a kind of shaker sound and looping it. You couldn't do that with the Baggs system as much, especially with a guitar that has a glossy finish, of course. But I agree. Yeah, exactly. In-ear monitors with those mic-based systems are really it's another level because it's real. Anything real is always best, right? We know that. Look, let's face it. And I'll be talking about this. I might be talking about this more in the next couple of days on a video. I'm not sure yet, but none of these digital solutions are better than a real amp. So if we're multi-millionaires on tour, if we're Clapton Mayer, we're gonna have the best tube amp on stage, mic'd up. That's still better than any modeling system. Modeling systems are great for people like me that are taking a train and want to take something tiny with everything in it and just go. If you're Clapton or Mayer or anyone touring with a budget behind you, you're gonna have the real amp, unless you're trying to save money. And if you say money is no object, and this might not apply to every style of music, but most musicians would still say those boxes are trying to copy the original, and none of them sound better than the original. Therefore, I'll just take the real deal. And it's the same with an acoustic guitar. A microphone still blows away all these pickup systems. If we could sit in a studio environment and play into a mic and have the audience sit in a room next door behind a piece of glass, then we would do that. The only reason we use a pickup system is that in a bar, we can't have a microphone because think how sensitive this microphone. But the minute people are talking like I'm talking, this is all going to bleed into the PA and feedback, and it's going to be wild, right? All the gear is really, the live gear is a way to get our sound out live in a convenient and controlled way. I think it's you got to get your head out of the fact that you'll find a acoustic guitar pickup that sounds better than a studio mic. It's not going to happen. And you got to get your head out of the fact you're going to find a little box that sounds better than a Dumble. It's not going to happen. You're going to spend a lot of time and money looking for those things. What you got to think is, what can I find that allows me to enjoy my performance at a decent level and the audience to also not say there's a problem with the sound? That's the answer. Have you seen any of the Dead and Company stuff from the Sphere? If so, what's your take on it? Future of live music? I haven't. Can you elaborate what they're doing? I did see them a few years ago at the Garden, but what are they doing at the Sphere? Let us know. Yeah, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, please do, and ring the bell. It really helps. So you hit the like button, the thumbs up there, hit the subscribe. If you're not, don't press it if you are, because you'll unsubscribe. Ring the bell to get notified when I post a video. And share this with a friend if you want to. Thank you. Boomer says you'll need to add a room mic, Aaron, if you don't want to sound like a backing track. Why? I'm just talking about getting an acoustic sound that sounds full and like a recording. You know, that compression you hear in recordings. You hear, like if you listen to Daughters by John Mayer, you hear a little bit of compression on the guitar. I want to hear that on my guitar. I don't, and also the thing is, you know, the funny thing is the Cole Clark and the vocal mic do pick up quite a lot of ambient noise. I wish they didn't actually, because that can be kind of annoying, but that does add to that live feel. But you don't, I don't really want to hear knives and forks clicking over the, you know, people shouting food orders. That's kind of what you hear with these pickup systems and microphones. Tone Junkie would disagree. Mic and acoustic is always better. Yeah, there's no pickup that. So many people go on. I see people on forums all the time, and they say something like, "Hey, how do I find a pickup that puts no weight in the guitar and no battery and sounds like a microphone?" It's just not possible. You know, some people do use microphones at gigs. It can be done, but they're going to pick up a lot of room noise. They might feed back. But I mean, look at this. Look at this Ray microphone. Look, this is a fairly affordable microphone I got here. This Ray, and it's incredible. Like it's like you can hear my voice. It sounds very natural. And ideally, you'd have something like that on the guitar and the voice. That's what you really want. So I just think people need to just accept. And then there's in pickups, there's very fake sounding pickups that sound very plasticky. And then there's natural, I wouldn't say natural sounding pickups. It's almost an oxymoron. It's more like a good sounding pickup, a full sound, a fat sound, a round sound is what I would say. And I think you've got to play to the power as well, because sometimes the pickup gives you more inspiration to play than a microphone would, not in sound, but in feel. Oh, yeah, the cats are acting up today. Let me just give them another meal. So, I think their food's run out. Need to put some more in there. Oh no, I can hear it. Where was I? Yeah, so for me with pickups, none of them sound like the mic and never will, but they do have other benefits in the same way, actually, that the digital electric stuff has benefits. For example, you could blend 10 amps together, and even Mayer probably wouldn't take 10 Dumbles to a gig, but you could technically blend 10 Dumbles in a modeler. So I think what we need to do with the gear is find a way to play to its strengths and kind of ignore its weaknesses, because a mic will never replace a pickup, and a pickup will never replace a mic, etc. Maybe you know that already, but I've definitely had a problem with that in the past, kind of chasing my tail. We got a new name here. Good to see you. Julian. Any plans to make a NUX Optima Air versus ToneDexter 2? No, I'll talk about that for a little minute or two. I did a video. I had a ToneDexter 2 just for like 24 hours. And I did a video just demoing the training process. And I got to say, I was impressed. Straight off the bat, I'll say, I'm not in a position right now to carry a pedal like that around with me. I'm very much about having the guitar with the system in it and the pedal. That's not to say that's what you should do. That's just my situation right now. I haven't got the ability to even carry another pedal. I'm maxed out. So that kind of eliminates that for me a little bit. But I made the video of the training. I wasn't that impressed because it didn't create a one-to-one microphone sound like the microphone did. And I know I just said that a pickup won't do that, but the point of these IR pedals for me is that they do that. I think they should sound exactly the same as the microphone. Maybe I'm expecting too much, but I think a pedal that aims to imitate the mic should sound like the mic. That's just my opinion. Maybe it'll happen one day. Maybe it won't. I actually listened back to that video, which is on the YouTube channel a few days ago, and I was impressed with ToneDexter 2. I did think it sounded very, very good. You know, it has a mic sound that surpasses the sound of the pickup. So I am impressed. I'm also really glad that they're pushing forward with ToneDexter, because ToneDexter 2's features are way better than ToneDexter 1. And all the things I used to ask about for ToneDexter 1 are now in ToneDexter 2. I'm not saying that I gave them the idea. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But it's a very, very cool pedal. So yeah, I did reach out to the company and Sweetwater to offer to make videos, but I wanted them to provide me the pedal to make the videos. I'm just not, I'm not in a position anymore to just buy stuff to make videos. But I did make that, I did feel I needed to cover it. So I did make that one video showing the training process. And I think it really shows it all. I mean, you could go deep dive into the other features, which are very good. But yeah, I think for the right person, if I swore by the K&K pickup and I had a pedal board already, and I used in-ears especially and wanted to get that sound even better, I would probably add a ToneDexter 2. I'll say that. But I haven't used it long term. I haven't used it with different systems. It wouldn't work with the Cole Clark because the Cole Clark pickup uses crossovers, which are not compatible with the ToneDexter technology, which is a shame. The crossovers in the Cole Clark are always enabled, so they're not compatible with that system. I think the Optima Air is still a great option. The Optima Air is way more affordable. Do they still make it? It's way more affordable. And they will let you export. I think that's huge that Optima Air will let you take the IRs out of the pedal. I really, really, really think that ToneDexter need to let you take them out of the pedal. And I don't know why they won't. They'll let you import IRs to ToneDexter 2, but they won't let you make an IR, a wave map IR, and export it. I think they're going to say it's because they want to... I'll come on that in a minute, Chris. I think ToneDexter don't want you to buy an LR Baggs Anthem OM28, make the captures and send them to your friend with the same guitar, which is fair enough. But I feel like a lot of electric pedal users like Helix, Quad Cortex, those ones that can import IRs, I think they'd be more tempted to buy a ToneDexter 2 in order to create the IR and then dump the IR into that existing pedal. I think the sales would even out. And I think it'd be amazing if you could do that. If you could put a ToneDexter 2 creation, IR creation into a Quad Cortex and use that at a gig. I mean, I wish they'd license the technology to Neural myself and work with them. You know, I want this stuff to be more of an all-in-one, but they don't. A NuX do. So actually, using a NuX to create an IR and then loading it into your existing pedal, I think is more attractive in a way. If they added that feature to ToneDexter 2, I think that would be a pretty amazing contribution to the acoustic guitar world. I think it is, to be honest. I just I haven't used it enough. I haven't used it live. Whenever I use any IR for acoustic live, it always kind of deadens the sound too much for me. I lose all the attack and the cut. So I'm not sure. So my answer is I would revisit the ToneDexter. I would do another comparison update. But I still stand by my original comparison video, I think. So we'll see. We'll see. I do have the video on the channel of the training process, so watch that and see what you think. Doctor said Tone Junkie would disagree about the real amp. No, he wouldn't. He owns the real amps. No one that makes captures of amps will tell you that a capture is better than the real thing. It's not. It's just not. And because even having the real amp on stage is a different experience to hearing it through the modeler. It's just a different experience. You can't compare them as apples and oranges. So that's what I was saying, right? I was saying that like Mayer would still use the real amp, even, you know, and I don't know. It's I stand by that. I've not yet heard anything which I've never heard a pedal where I said, wow, that's better than the real thing. But the pedal gives you the ultimate flexibility and power that the real thing doesn't. The real thing does one thing very well, and a pedal does 1,000 things well, right? Christopher says, hey, Aaron and everyone. Chris from York again. Just an update on the OM 20th anniversary, OMJM, if you're interested. Yeah, the store gave me a £50 discount and sent me some strings. Very happy with it. Great. So he was saying last week that there was some cosmetic issues with the OMJM, but he wanted to keep it because it sounded good and played good. So I did say you should, bring it up with them because that is meant to be a brand new guitar. And they sent him $50 and strings. So that's good. So it was worth saying something. And I just think that's fair. They didn't really lose out. They've kept you as a happy customer. You'll go back again. And fair is fair. A new guitar should be a new guitar. If I bought a new guitar and it had a piece of paint missing, I probably would send it back. Well, now that's not what I said last week. I mean a big piece of paint missing, not a small one. So yeah, let me just say that again. What you don't want to do is every guitar you look at, you find a slight speck in the paint and send it back. No, because it's very hard to find a guitar that sounds and plays how you want. So if it is a minor thing, I think that they should give you something off. And if it's more of a major thing, well, you've got to decide ultimately. Some people might like it. Some people might think, well, now it's like a relic guitar and it makes me want to play it more. And some people might say, no, I could have bought a used guitar for £500 less, so I'm going to send it back. It's very personal, but I think they did the right thing in giving you something back because I don't think what they gave you was a new guitar. Water tastes so good in this heat. I might have to get some more. The Spear Dead and Company shows is more visual. Check it out. I will do. That sounds cool. And to answer your question from last week, I did buy it brand new. Yeah, you know, it's hard because a guitar is not an iPhone. When you buy an iPhone, it's brand new. It's always spotless, right? And if there was a scratch on the glass, you would return it, of course. That's a man-made product, right? But when you buy a guitar, which is wood, sorry, I mean machine-made. I'm so confused today. You know what I mean? An iPhone, a laptop, Apple, you're expecting it to be perfect out of the box. A guitar is handmade and made from wood and natural materials, and it's not going to be like that. I mean, the Sirs I've had have been basically like that, but they're very much made to a boutique level. So I kind of expect that from them. But any sort of production line guitar, you're going to have little things. Someone once said to me, there's always something. There's always something that will bug you about any new guitar. Like whether it's the wood grain or a slight mark in the finish, or there'll always be something. But it should just be that minor, and you should just love the guitar so much that it doesn't matter. I mean, my argument is otherwise you may as well buy used and save yourself half the money, because it's often happened to me that I've found something in almost brand new condition for 50%, 60, 40, no, not 60, but 40, 50% off. So buy that. Why would you buy brand new if it's not brand new? Okay, you get the warranty. That's good. That is worth having with a lot of guitars. But you know what I'm saying? That the used market is such a great market right now. So it's got to be worth it when you buy new. One sec. Excuse me. All right. All right. Jasper says, what Martins do you still own? I remember your HD28 review. So I've got an HDC 28 Anthem, and I took out the Anthem and installed the Anthem SL, which I like because it keeps it out of the sound hole so I can still use a feedback buster. That guitar sounds really good. I just don't, despite being 6'5", I don't find dreads very comfortable. I like a GPC style from Cole Clark, and I like an OM style from Martin. So I've still got the Martin Custom Engelmann sort of John Mayer copy. That's a guitar that I kind of wanted to sell for personal reasons, but I won't go into that. But it sounds so good that I had to keep it. That is one, again, talking about what people say watching my videos. I had a few people wanted to buy that guitar. Had a lot of great compliments on that guitar. So I'm going to keep that. I'll always be looking out for something to replace that with, probably with a 1 3/4 inch nut. But I've learned that you got to be careful with acoustic guitars because they have such different sounds that I played some amazing on spec custom shops the last few years that they drove me nuts. They had these weird overtones and I hated them. They went back. I've talked about that in the past. So those two guitars I have, the HTC 28 and the Engelmann OM, they are excellent sounding and playing Martins. I don't really play them much because I mainly gig, and when I gig, I use the Cole Clark. So that's that. If I was to record with a microphone this week for some kind of YouTube cover, I would use the Martins. Yeah, they do have a better unplugged sound, but they don't have a better plugged in sound, and that's really my main goal these days. In fact, if I was recording a YouTube cover this week, I'd probably use the Cole Clark and plug it straight in, and a lot of people wouldn't do that with their undersaddle pickups. So that's interesting. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. I've just sold another guitar today, a Stratocaster, which I'm very happy about. So my thoughts lately is I don't need to have all this stuff. I don't need to have it like in case. Like, the world isn't, as far as I know, the world's not going to end. It's not, they're not going to stop making guitars tomorrow, as far as I know. So, I mean, you never know these days with what the companies keep announcing, but I'm thinking these days, what I'm trying to do is keep, like a great recording acoustic, a great stage acoustic, a great gigging electric, a great Fender electric, sort of cover the bases that I personally want covered, sell everything else, but keep an open mind. Like if I ever was at a trade show and they had let's say I went to NAMM, they had a Martin one-off OM28, and I played it, and they let me play it in my hotel room, and they let me take it home for a week, and I just thought, this is it. This is I need this over what I already have. Then I would keep that and sell the other ones. But I think that's what I want to do now. I don't want to just like think, oh, I need that, I want that, I want to own that, because it's pointless. So I got some guitars that I've sold some guitars that never really got played, which is pretty dumb. But the HDC was a great model, and I really wish they'd bring it back. But they won't. They didn't sell enough of them, unfortunately. Any updates on lightweight live sound equipment choices when taking public? I can talk about that because I killed myself on Saturday with my rig. Put power speaker. No, okay. So let me talk about this because yeah, I just dealt with this. So Saturday, I'd already I'm trying to get fit for something that's happening next month, which I'll tell you about another day. But I'd already done a big workout and I was pretty tired, and it was about 90 degrees on Saturday and sunny. So I had to take a train to my gig, and the regular train that takes me, so it's like an 8-minute walk to the train, and then the train and change train, and that would take me 2 blocks from the avenue where the gig is. That train line was cancelled, so I just took the one train into the city, and then I had to walk more like 8 blocks. And despite my lightweight rig, it was still very, very miserable to do. And you'll say use a cart. I don't want to because there's a lot of stairs, and then you got to carry the cart up the stairs. But then no, I did it. It was fine, but just worth mentioning. It's obviously a lot harder in that crazy heat, obviously, right? What I should probably do next time as well is wear a t-shirt there and then change into my shirt at the gig, because I was just dripping with sweat when I got there. Paul's made a good comment that I'm going to talk about in a minute. So just to recap what that rig is: Meridian soft gig bag, but very protected on my back with my Cole Clark Angel. A lightweight PV mic stand across my back in a sling that holds the mic stand, which means I have my arms free. I used the Everse 8. That did a really great job at the gig. And I took my full bag of cables, which I've got down to about 17 pounds, but still is heavy. It used to, thank goodness I got that down from 25 to 17, because I couldn't have done it if it was 25. So I'm still very happy with that bag that I got. So basically, think about it, 17 pounds in one hand, 17 pounds in the other hand, guitar and lightweight mic stand over my back. So we're looking at maybe 40, probably 40 pounds, which isn't that crazy when you think about it. I mean, I was saying the other day, I've since the lockdown, I gained like 40 pounds. So there's 40 pounds right there. That's very doable. And that rig allows me to perform almost anywhere. It's very versatile. I don't take a speaker stand because that would just be too much to take. So what I did was I put the Everse 8 on a high table so I could hear it. I usually use in-ears, but I decided not to. So I had it on the table beside me so I could hear it. I used the app to EQ the sound. I took a lot of bass out, which made it much clearer, which I really enjoyed. And I used the Voice Live 3 Extreme, and it was a great gig. Then I did take a cab home, which was expensive, but I just couldn't face it that night, taking the train home. Now, if the regular trains were running, that would have been fine. So that was the problem, and the excessive heat. So I'm still using that rig, and it's still working out really well. Yes, it's not fun to take it, but the fact that I could take a train to a gig and back again and perform at, without compromise, that's really cool. Now, am I saying that I would sell my regular PA and only use that? No, I still believe that a regular PA speaker and mixer and monitors is way better than that. But again, like I said at the start of the show about this compromise thing, what do we need for the gig? It's like I said, John Mayer would take a real Dumble. I would use a quad cortex capture of a Dumble. His is going to sound better. Same with this PA. I took the portable PA to avoid paying for a cab there, which saved me $40. But of course, I'd rather have driven there with a full PA system in the back of the car. Yes, it takes a bit longer to set up, but it does sound better. It will always sound better. And anyone that believes that a battery-powered amp sounds better than a full PA system is not thinking straight. Having said that, though, PA speaker on a stand does always sound better. That's the way you should use them. I just didn't want to take the stand with me. All right, I need one more sip of water. Oh, I keep drinking that water. It's crazy. Martin now offers many models in satin finish. Yeah, but only to save money. Now, I was just thinking about this yesterday, Paul. People were talking about the ebony fretboards having the streaks in them. When they first announced that, people were in uproar, including me. And now a lot of people seem to comment that they like how they look. I think it's because they've got used to them and maybe own them now. I don't understand. I should ask Martin at NAMM next year. I don't understand why they can't still stain them. I presume, if I'm going to be very cynical right now, I presume they don't stain them black anymore because that's another step and time. And remember they did this around the time it was hard to buy a Martin. So they're obviously trying to get guitars out the door. So by not staining the fretboard anymore, they're saving time and money. I'd love to know if that's a fact or if they just can't stain it anymore for some reason. I liked the stain boards. And if you order a custom shop, hint, hint, you can still have the board stained black. Okay. Same with the satin. They did say, and many guitar brands will say, that satin finishes sound better because the gloss finish isn't holding in the tone, which I do believe actually. But let's face it, the reason you don't put the gloss finish all over your guitar at the end of production is to save time and therefore money. Time is money, right? So that's why you do it. But you're saying that I could do that scratchy thing on. Yes, I could do. I could order a OMC satin finish guitar, install the New Bags Hi-Fi Duet, and still perform this, in a similar way to how I do with the Cole Clark. You're absolutely right about that. But I don't know. I just like, the thing about the Cole Clarks is that like mine's all black wood, and you can really bang on that. Despite the fact that when I dropped that one that day, it did crack, as I found out the hard way, and I now use those rings, and that hasn't happened ever again, and never will, hopefully. It is harder. If you want to bang on the guitar, it's going to hold up better when you're playing percussively on the guitar. So I just don't feel that. I don't feel need. But I might change. I reserve the right to change my mind. When I eventually get to try this Hi-Fi Duet, and by the way, LR Bags, I wish I'd tried it already. I'm waiting for you. When I try that out, I may be tempted. Who knows? Look, I'm not. I told you, I'm not. I have a lot of respect for Cole Clark. I'm not married to them. If I decided that the Hi-Fi Duet was better for what I do and wanted to put it in a custom Martin for some reason, because that's just how I feel that year. I was going to say that day, but it sounds bad. Then I would do it. Don't get me wrong. Yes, I would do it. I'm very excited to review that new LR Bags Hi-Fi Duet system. Really am. Really, really am. But it's got stiff competition because obviously I'm going to compare it to the Cole Clark system because that is my #1 system. The Cole Clark system, the LR Bags Anthem, will be compared to the Hi-Fi Duet. Now, it might be that the Hi-Fi Duet is going to work for certain players in certain situations, and that's what I'll end up saying in my video. Or it may be that I just don't like it, or it may be that I like it and switch to it. I don't owe anyone anything. And one thing I really like about LR Bags as a company is I know that they don't cut people off. Like I've said negative things, they haven't just cut me off. A lot of brands that I've dealt with, and I won't say who they are, but everything's gone swimmingly, and I've been critical of one thing, and they just don't want to work with you anymore. So, and I just don't get. When I say work with you, that's a weird thing as well, because they're not paying me. Just because someone sends me a pedal to make the review about, and I say, oh, I don't like the way it does this, I don't understand why companies would do that. Now, this was years ago, and the whole YouTube industry thing has changed a lot in recent years. But I still think I see that happening with certain brands. When they ask you to review something, I think they're really saying, can you push it for us? Because that's business, right? I understand that. But they really should say, can you promote this for us, and we'll pay you for promoting it. But one thing I love about LR Bags is that I could go on and say, I don't like something, and they'll just say, well, why not? And they won't get upset. I mean, obviously they're not happy about it. Who would be happy about anyone criticizing their product? But they will accept that. They'll accept that that's my opinion. And I think we should see more of that in the industry, especially if you say why. If you can prove that a pickup system from any brand doesn't work for you at a certain venue with a video, and you show the video in the video, and you talk about why you can't use it, that's not going on and saying blah 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 sucks, like you shouldn't buy it, it sucks, get lost. That's not that, is it? It's not a hateful video. It's just saying, here's my experience with it. And that's one problem I have with the people in my comment section lately. Many people are saying things like I'll review something and say, I really like this, I'm really impressed, it's really changed the way I do my work. And they'll say, oh, it sucks. I won't tell you what I'm talking about, but as an example, they'll say, oh no, I tried that, it sucks. And I'll just say, well, that's fine. I'm not gonna accuse you of lying. Like, I don't know if maybe you work for another company, maybe you're just having a bad day, whatever it is, or maybe that's your real experience, that's all fine, right? The problem I have is, why can't you make a video? We all have a phone. You don't need to be anything special to do what I'm doing today. You just need a phone, which we all have a phone with a camera in it. Anyone watching this live stream right now could go live right now and talk about a product. Yes, it's nice to have the lights. It's nice to have the light behind me. It's nice to have a room to do this in. I'm very lucky to have that. It's nice to have, I've got a colored light behind me, a little blue there. I've got a nice camera, a nice lens. So this is a sharp raw. I'm using software that I have to pay for every year to bring in the comments on the screen and have the animations. Yes, it's nice to have those things. But anyone that has a problem with a piece of gear can put their camera on, their phone on record, and show that problem and post it, and then put a link to that in my video and say, hey, I appreciate your video, but just to warn people, I did have this problem, and here's a link to show you what happened. That's fine. I really encourage that. But I don't like when people just say, that sucks. I don't get it. So again, I've done it. I remember years ago watching a video of, I think it was Henning Pauly reviewed a Nuix wireless system, and he said it was great and worked great. And I left a comment. I said, well, I was going to review it, and I got one to review, and it didn't work for me. I don't think it's great at all. And his reply was, make a video. So I did. And I think that's the way to do it. Just because it worked for him doesn't mean it'll work for me, but just prove it. Just show that. Just prove that. Everything should be proven. I was going to say provable. Everything should be provable, right? You can't just say random stuff online. I don't think it's fair. There's no excuse. It'd be one thing if your phones didn't have video cameras in them, and you didn't have access to a video camera, that's one thing. But we all have, I won't say all, okay, I'll take that back. A lot of people, most people, I'm not sure the right word to say, but a lot of people have access to a video camera in their cell phone, even if it's a low quality one. There's no reason not to be able to show and back up what you're talking about. One of the things I love with the Voice Live 3 Extreme is that it's so easy to record. You can record straight onto a thumb drive, a low profile thumb drive that you just leave in the unit at all times, or you can record over a cable directly to your phone. So it bugs me lately. I read forums and Facebook groups where people are being very critical and very judgmental about certain guitars and pickups and tones. Why don't they post a video of that directly recorded so we can all hear it? So again, it's very easy to say, I don't like that guitar brand's pickup because it sounds too bright, and my guitar sounds much better than that. Okay, so post a clip of your guitar recorded so we can all hear what you're talking about. Because maybe when I hear that, I'm going to think, well, no, I don't like that because it's got too much mid-range. So I don't understand that. I like forums, but I think forums are so dated now because it's just text. And there's a list of like what people own and text and text on the screen, but you never heard that person play. With YouTube, it's so much better because I can sit here and say, this is great, this is great, this is great, and then I'll play it for you. And you might think, well, actually, I don't like how you play, and actually, I don't like that sound at all. So I don't agree with you. Okay, you believe that? Fine, but I don't agree with you. The danger with these Facebook groups and the forums, although you can post video there, I find most people don't. And they tend to just type, like, I've found the ultimate thing and it's this. Okay, great. And then I think the danger of that is impressionable people can then get out their credit card and start ordering stuff. Because in their mind, the person that typed that is Tommy Emmanuel level. But in reality, they're probably not. So that's very harsh, but that's how I feel. All right. So any last questions? I'm going to wrap things up because I'm working on some stuff for the week. Once again, I'm going to drop my link here to Sweetwater. If you wouldn't mind clicking on it, I'd appreciate it. It helps the channel when they see people are clicking on the Sweetwater link. So there it is right there. One more time, if you are new here, if you haven't subscribed, please do. There we go. And we're going to check the rest of this month here. Next week, I'll be here, and the following week, I'll be here. So, yes, I'll be back again next week. I am working on some videos. I've got loads of half-finished videos, which are going to be going up soon. I'm really excited about, and some more videos coming. I think it's going to be a really exciting year, actually. I'm going to be traveling to an event next month that I'll tell you about probably next week, which is really exciting for me. I'm spending money doing it, but I think it's going to be really cool for the channel. And I've got some other things that are in the works as well. I don't want to talk about it because I always talk about stuff and then I never do it. So I'm not going to talk about it, but I am working on a lot of stuff. I think I'll be doing a lot of YouTube this year. So I'm pleased about that. I've got the bug again, which is cool. John said, I agree with your thoughts on forums and I don't care about someone's gear. Right. I think the demos are really important. I really do. I think you've got to show, you got to prove stuff. Like if I really think something's way better than something else, I need to post it because it's all subjective. So you still might say, actually, no, I prefer the other ones. John says, have a great rest of the year. I mean, the year's going fast, isn't it? Mid-July already. But yeah, YouTube for me my channel's a steady build, and like my ad revenue and these links and things, I'd say if anything, it's gone down a lot. The year has like ups and downs based on for all channels, but like at Christmas you get more ad revenue because there's more people shopping and things like that. But the thing is, I've got some. I think for me, I've got some videos I'm excited to make, and I've also got another idea that I want to try out that may be great or may fall flat on its face. I just want to try those things out. So I do appreciate the support. Please keep telling people about the channel, and join me again next week. It's great to have 35 people watching today. So yeah, try and join me again next week. And as always, have a great week. And if anything cool happens this week, let me know next week, and we'll talk about it. So take care and be well. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Oh, thank you to Lee and Rosanna for moderating. And thank you for no trolls joining the chat that needed to be moderated. See you later.
Six string today, vintage wood.